Welcome, welcome to Business Matters. This lesson we're going to be doing is that we're going to be looking at technology and the global business environment. What we have been doing is seeking to highlight those areas that we are informed will be tested in this current 2022 examination. And therefore, we want you to have an idea of how the questions are structured and how you might attempt to answer these questions. So it is very important that you follow through with me carefully as to how the questions are presented and how we can respond to them. It's going to be very important that you give attention to that. So we have looked before at production, we have looked at logistics, and now we are going to be looking at technology and the global business environment. And we'll be focusing on past papers from 2018 to 2020. All right, so let's get right into it. So from the 2018 question 5, the first question A says, state one major function of each of the following economic institutions. So, first one is Caribbean Community or CARICOM. Major function, it seeks to promote economic integration and cooperation among member countries. Secondly, World Trade Organization, the WTO. Major function is it sets rules and oversee multilateral trade agreements among member states. Question B. Outline one way in which government can alleviate each of the following economic problems. So what this question is asking us to do is to outline, not to list, outline. So therefore, you should be presenting your answer in the form of a statement. Yes? Outline one way in which government can alleviate each of the following economic problems. Let's look at them now. First one, unemployment. How can government alleviate unemployment? The government can facilitate the development of the manufacturing, distribution, and export sectors. As these sectors grow, yes, there will be an increase in the demand for labor, and so more people will be employed. So what are we saying? We're saying government can change the prospects of unemployment in the country by facilitating the development in the area of manufacturing, right? They can put in place measures to enhance, to support the manufacturing sector, the distribution sector, and the export sector. And when these sectors have increased in their production and their activity, then it will require and demand more persons to work in those areas. So we are reducing unemployment. The second economic problem is overpopulation. Now, what the government can do is to give more incentives to business that are established in the rural areas, thus reduce rural to urban drift and overpopulation. So if government put in some incentives, let us say tax breaks for companies if they will develop factories in the rural areas, and what that will do is create employment for people so they don't have to leave their communities to go into the urban centers to find employment. So you reduce the intensity of the overpopulation in one area. Also, what else the government could do? Well, they could put family planning programs in place, yes, to educate the citizens on various birth control methods, so we don't have overpopulation. The other matter of concern is migration. What could the government do? The government could offer higher paying jobs in the public sector, so it is more attractive for people to want to work in the country, right? And will not be willing to leave for what they will refer to as greener pastures or better employment. Section D of question 5 says, define the term economic dualism. This is a very important concept in business and in many countries, especially Caribbean countries. Well, what is economic dualism? This refers to an economy that has two distinct sectors. One that is technologically advanced and the other is technologically backward. Now, one sector is mechanically driven while the other is manually driven. There's a preponderance or use of manpower. So that is what is called economic dualism. The country has really two sectors. So the urban areas tend to be technologically advanced, a lot of manufacturing, machine, and so on, computer, telecommunication taking place. But in the rural areas, they are more agrarian, they are more manpower driven. Yes. Question D of the question says, outline two benefits of obtaining foreign direct investment. What's our answer? It will create employment to new businesses. Right? It will create employment, as new businesses will be established in the country. So foreign direct investment. Notice the word direct investment. When we talk about direct, it means that the people from overseas, the countries from other persons in our country, come into a foreign country or come into your local country and set up a business. Yes, use their money to set up a business and operate it in the country. One typical example, a few typical examples we have in Jamaica, Digicel, they leave their headquarters and their country, and they came into Jamaica and established directly a business, a telecommunication business, and there are many others we could speak about. But let's move on. Second benefit is that it will bring to the country new technical knowledge and technologies that will benefit the local business and workers. So we're saying, because these companies now are coming perhaps from a first world country, yes, they have access to new technological methods and efficient method and modern method of production or carrying out business activities. And so when they come into the local country, yes, they now are going to be bringing in those technologies, and so the country and people who work within that industry or that business will benefit from the knowledge of the new technologies that are brought in. Question D. explain 2 ways in which Caribbean governments can assist in the development of the manufacturing sector in your country. So we're to tell 2 ways. Yes, Caribbean government can assist in the development of the manufacturing sector. Now, 1, the government can tailor training programs to improve and modernize the skills of people who can then become efficient and effective employees in the manufacturing sector. Secondly, the government can offer financing at low interest rates or provide subsidies, yes, that will lower operational costs for these manufacturing businesses and give greater opportunity for them to retool, those who are existing, for them to retool by putting in better machines and equipment and technology that will increase productivity and give them greater economy of scale. So we're moving now to 2019, question 5. 5A says, define the term information and communications technology. What does that mean? Well, ICT means, or it refers to, a wide range of technological tools. What did we say? ICT refers to a wide range of technological tools and resources used to transmit, store, create, share, and exchange information. That stem of information is critical to recall. So it is a wide range of technological tools and resources used to do what? 1, transmit. 2, store. 3, create. 4, share or exchange information. Now, these tools and resources include computers, the internet, and live broadcasting technologies such as when we use websites and emails and radio and television. These are examples of areas where ICT is being used, or ICT is involved. Yes, these are tools, computers, the internet, and live broadcasting such as use of radio and television. Let's move on. Describe one way in which computer aided design is used in business. So describe one way in which computer aided design is used in business. Well, it is used to help designers, architects, and engineers to do what? To design new products or redesign existing products. Example, an architect may need to use the computer aided design to create a building plan for construction. What is happening now in our age is that most of the architects are using computer softwares to prepare a house plan and building plans and so on, and drawings. Yes, that gives even more 3D reflection as to what the building might look like. All right, so that's what it is. We're at question C now. Question C says section C outline 3 ways in which the use of automatic teller machines or automated banking machines, ABMs, could assist a business. How could they assist business? 1, look at this carefully. How does ATM or ABMs help business? It will help the business to operate more efficiently. What did we say? It will help the business to operate more efficiently. Why? So that consumers can get through quickly with their financial transactions. You will see in many of our banks or financial institutions, there is a ATM machine, yes, a ABM machine. What are they seeking to do? To make sure that customers are able to do their financial transaction faster. The second reason is that it can reduce the number of consumers that may need to go into the bank to do simple transactions such as to make withdrawals and to deposit, right? When we had the height of the COVID-19 circumstances, most countries and banks required persons to use their ATM or to go online to do their banking, because that now helps them to manage the amount of persons inside the physical brick and mortar offices. The third is the close proximity of ATMs to businesses give easy access to consumers to get necessary cash to conduct a transaction. It becomes very convenient. Sometimes you go to do shopping and you may fall short of some monies, and instead of to go to a bank and to stand in a long line, to wait in a long line, yes, you can simply just slip into an ATM machine and there you go. You obtain your cash and you're back out to complete your business. Section D. Outline 2 ways in which electronic commerce or e-commerce can improve the performance of a business. Well, 1, it can allow the business to get more customers as their goods and services are marketed around the world using, World Wide Web. Now, electronic commerce is really trading, doing business or trading online, right? And that helps business, customers, business to get more customers across the world. Secondly, it is also possible to instantly contact suppliers from around the world to obtain quotations, to place orders for goods or to request rapid deliveries. 3, they can improve their customer service by becoming more efficient and effective in delivering the goods and services using what we know about logistics. Section D to the question says, explain 2 ways in which businesses can demonstrate the ethical use of ICT in the conduct of their operations. And our answer is, they must ensure that their business website is safe and secure for customers to conduct business. Why? Because you don't want to have the website be easy to be hacked. Yes? So website should not be easily hacked. Our second answer to that question is to ensure that customer records are kept confidentially. Yes? Customers' information should not be disclosed without permission, right? So the businesses must put some security features in place to ensure that customer information is not disclosed without their permission. We're moving to January 2020, question 5, and it says, list 4 indicators of a country's standard of living. Well, indicators here suggest, and this list now, you're just going to be saying them 1, 2, 3, 4. I have presented to you a number of options that you may list to get the 4. First one is level of disposable income. 2, access to modern technology. 3, access to nutritious food. And 4, safe water supply. 5, level of educational opportunities. 6, level of consumption, and quality and quantity of housing. That is 7. So I've given you 7 options here that could be listed that can indicate or will show the level or standard of living that exists in a country. Next part of the question said list 4 indicators of a country's quality of life. 1, level of security enjoyed, or 2, the level of crime in the country. So you may write the level of security enjoyed, or you may write the level of crime in the country. 2, you may write access to high quality health care. 4, rate of infant mortality. 5, life expectancy. And 6, access to public utilities. So we have given you 6 options that you could decide on which 4 to use in responding to that question. So we have question B, the difference between economic growth and economic development. A very important question. So what is economic growth? Economic growth is measured as the increase in the value of production of goods and services in a country over a period of a year. So when we talk about economic growth, we are talking about increases, right? The country was producing, let us say, $1 billion worth of goods in 2021, and in 2022 it is producing $2 billion worth of goods. That means there is economic growth. There is a tangible increase over year on year. What is development? Development, when a country improves its economic and social condition of its citizens. So when there is improvement, so the key words in these 2 statements. 1, economic growth speaks to increase. Yes, increase, movement from one figure to a higher. So move from 5 to 10. Yes, that's an increase. Move from 3 to 4, an increase. Economic development has to do with the qualitative improvement in the economy. Now let me go a little bit deeper. So how are they different? Having said that, how is the economic growth different from economic development? Well, economic growth is quantitative. So there is an increase in the number and the amount of the production, while economic development is qualitative. Yes, there is qualitative change. Remember these 2 terms. Quantitative change means increase in the amount. Qualitative change, it's an improvement and advancement. Yes. Let's go to the next question. Define the term, yes, human resource development. This occurs through education and training to enhance the ability of workers to respond to technological and economic changes, resulting in higher productivity. So we're asked to define what is human resource development. Now, development suggests that you are improving, and so it's human resource development. That means the individual is improving in their education and in their skills. Yes, their ability to perform job tasks better than before. So human resource development speaks to, yes, in education and training to enhance the ability of the workers to respond to technological and economic changes, resulting in higher productivity. So when human resource development is taking place, then you're going to have an increase in productivity. Next question. Explain 2 ways in which the private sector could invest in human resource development. One, the quality and level of productivity at the workplace is directly related to the level of skills and educated persons. Isn't that so? Yes. So how efficient an individual works most times, well, all the time really, is dependent on what? Their level of training, yes, and level of ability in doing the job task, yes. So it directly relate to the level of skilled and educated persons. So the private sector, yes, can offer educational scholarships and bursary to workers, yes, to access training. How else can they develop human resource? Human resource? Their human resource can be developed, yes, by conducting regular in-house training for workers. Let's go on to 3. The third way, they could partner with the government to fund educational institution, yes, or they could contribute modern tools and facilities in schools. That's how the private sector could work with the government to improve the education, the human resource. So we're now moving to 2021, January 2, 2021. State 2 indicators of a country's standard of living. See, this question has turned up again. We saw it before in a previous paper. We're seeing it again. The level of consumption of goods and services. Secondly, the average disposal income of the population, access to modern technology. All right, let's move on to the next. Again, we're seeing this question asked. State 2 indicators of a country's quality of life. Quality of life speaks to the level of happiness and contentment and comfort of the people in the country. So, indicators: 1, the extent of security enjoyed by the people, the availability of healthcare facilities, the availability and quality of educational, recreational facilities. Then we're going to B, define the following terms. What is GDP? That is gross domestic product. Now, gross domestic product refers to the measure of the total money value of goods and services, yes, within a country during the year. So it has to do with all the production that takes place within the borders of the country. Yes, that is what is referred to GDP. The total, the aggregate of money value of goods and services that is produced in the country, within the borders of the country for a particular year. Then gross national product now refers to the total amount of goods and services produced within the country, as well as those produced outside the country by businesses owned by citizens of the country. Or if the government owns any business outside, that will also be calculated. Let's move on. Question C, outline 3 ways in which a country could benefit from international trade. This type of trade allows the country to do what now? Obtain goods that they cannot provide for themselves. So international trade, how do countries benefit from international trade? The country benefit because they can access goods that they cannot provide for themselves, and that may be for the reason of climatic condition or because of sheer cost to produce those goods. Second reason for international benefit of international trade would be that it allows for the movement of capital between countries through direct foreign investment. Now, this will provide employment and exposure to new technology, as we spoke about earlier. So, international trade will bolster, yes, and improve and increase the movement of capital, so the country can have more business activity taking place for economic growth to come about. So we're moving on. 3, the country may be unable to produce the goods in the quantity and quality needed, so they can access it in another country. In other words, these goods cannot be produced in the local country, and so they need it. They are unable to produce the goods in the quantity. In other words, they can't produce enough, right? For whatever reason it is, they cannot produce enough of those goods and quality of those goods that the consumers within or the citizens in the country would really want to access. All right, so D, explain. This is the last part of 2021. Explain one negative effect of each of the following factors on the economy of a developing country. Negative impact of these. Migration. The country experienced brain drain, and we know what brain drain is. This is where the skilled and trained workers leave to live and work in another country. So we lose their services. The country will have to find the resources to train new workers to fill the gap left. Yes, and this also will slow down the production levels in the country. Unemployment. What is the negative effect of unemployment? Would be that this can cause a burden on the country, as unemployment can lead to abject poverty. The people cannot provide for themselves, yes, and the government may not have enough resources to provide the social programs such as healthcare and food and education. So negative impact of unemployment, what we're seeing here is that unemployment will lead into abject poverty, and as a result of that, the people cannot provide for themselves, and so it puts a greater burden on the country, yes, to put in social programs to facilitate and to assist these citizens. We're now at 2022, we're coming to the close. Last question says, state two functions of the Caribbean community. Did we speak to this before? Yes. One function of CARICOM to ensure the benefits of integration and equitable shared among to ensure the benefits of integration are equitably, yes, shared among the member states. In other words, the CARICOM helps to make sure that all the countries in the group benefit from whatever there is to be benefited from in a result of their integration, right? Good. Let's move on. 2, to promote the integration of the economies of member states. 3, to coordinate foreign policies. Next question, state 2 benefits Caribbean countries